so powerful in such a small amount of time. Within an hour of me doing it, my life completely changed. A complete 180. I want to be a better husband, a better father, and a better man. And if I can help anybody else in that same path, why not?
To have such a beautiful experience and be able to put down such a weight, I mean, why wouldn't you want to share that with people?
Mhm.
Nice. Thanks for tuning into Power Perspectives, People, Passion, Purpose. Today, I am with the incredible founders of Samana Soul Retreat, located in the gorgeous Caribbean country of the Dominican Republic. I'm with Benjamin Bryant and Greg Tibbles.
My name is Ben, and I'm a co-creator of Samana Soul. Myself and my business partner, Greg Tibbles, created this company. You know, he's my best friend, and we've created something that I feel is really special.
My name is Greg, and I moved here to Samana, Dominican Republic, about a year and a half ago. I lost a lot of friends in combat, and I lost a son to suicide. So I came here to heal, and after meeting Ben, we found a medicine that helped me heal, and it put in my heart to help other veterans heal. I wanted to help bring healing and give them an opportunity to heal themselves.
The intention behind Samana Soul is networking, aligning with the right people, but also just to help a lot of people that need it, that need a retreat like this, that need a connection with nature, and other type of connection to ceremonies that we do.
Gentlemen, thank you for joining me here on Power Perspectives. I really appreciate gaining your knowledge.
Hi, how's it going?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Awesome. So before we kind of get into what your retreat offers and how people can get involved and all of the benefits, let's just talk a little bit about what it is, what the retreat is, and how you both really found yourself from completely different places in the world to this gorgeous space now in the Dominican, in the Caribbean.
You know, I have a history of trauma. I was not in a good place, and I knew I needed to get out of the United States. Too much going on, too fast. Everything was going too much. So basically, my wife said, "You got to get out of bed. You got to get out of the house." So we moved to an island, found ourselves in the Dominican Republic, and through a chain of events, I happened to meet Ben, and one thing led to another. He introduced me to another person who had helped him in a certain way, and I am on a healing path now. I'm in the jungle as much as I can be and out in the sun. And yeah, here I am.
Living life.
Living life.
A lot different from the States. Where in the States are you originally from?
Originally, Oklahoma and Texas, but for the last 10 years, I've been living in Florida.
Wow, a long way from Oklahoma now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally different life.
Amazing. And Ben, I know that you're a dive instructor, but I'd love to know, like, what specifically when you're traveling the world made you want to call Dominican your home?
So much like Greg, I left the Western world. I left the UK quite early on. I was about 19. I just didn't really buy into the whole, Western lifestyle. I knew from a very young age I wanted to be abroad. So to cut a long story short, I started traveling a lot, and then I decided to become a dive instructor so I could stay abroad and live off of that wage and doing that job, which was awesome for a while. It was a lot of good fun. And fast forward 12 years later of being abroad, I was really getting to the point where I was around about 30 years old now, and I was ready to tie roots, and I was searching for the right location of what I wanted to call home. I'd spent time in many different places, and I was traveling through Central America. I was traveling from Mexico down to Panama, and I was teaching a couple how to scuba dive on an island called Roatan. And they told me that they used to live in the DR, the Dominican Republic. And this place was never on my radar. I wasn't even considering coming here. And they told me how great it was and how lovely the culture is and the people and so on and so forth. So it was almost like my last attempt after many years of traveling. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go and check out the DR and see what's up over there. So I flew out here 2 weeks after having this conversation with them, and I've not left. I've been here for 10 years. Within the first 2 weeks, I'd met my wife. Within the first couple of months, I found the property that I wanted to buy. I ended up buying a truck, and everything just kind of fell into place really quickly. And I ended up developing a property over here. And yeah, I've been out here ever since. And just in the last year, I've been getting into natural medicines. I met Greg. Greg, remind me. My memory's here.
Been about a year, a little over a year.
We met on Halloween, didn't we? We met at a Halloween party. And our kids were going to school together, but that was the first time I met Greg and his wife. And then I think just after a couple of meetups after that, he kind of told me about his situation and what he was dealing with. And I had just recently tried Bufo, 5-MeO DMT. And I told him all about it. And I didn't have to say much to Greg. Greg was like, sign me up, let's go. And yeah, everything started from there.
Wow. When you know, and I think really when you're in a state of flow, everything just coming together, the land, the property, your wife in 2 weeks, that's crazy. And then you and Greg connecting like that, that's pretty awesome. And Greg, I know we just kind of said this incredible life story in like 3 sentences, which is, not to take away from the power and the depth of your life experience. But before we get into how that medicine has helped you both, can you describe, please, for people that are like, okay, I kind of have heard of Bufo. I know it's like the strongest psychedelic medicine that exists and is known to man, but can you talk a little bit about, enlighten people, what is Bufo 5-MeO DMT?
Yeah, 5-MeO DMT is a secretion from the Sonoran desert frog in Arizona and parts of Mexico. And it's very, very strong. It's one of the strongest you can do, but what's great about it is how fast it comes on. And it's not going to be a 6, 7, 12-hour thing you go through. It's so powerful in such a small amount of time. Within an hour of me doing it, my life completely changed. A complete 180. And it's amazing. Ben, if you want to say more about the 5-MeO DMT, that's fine. It's just a life changer for me. I'm not sure what else to say about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so it's incredibly healing. I see a lot of talk at the moment on ibogaine for healing vets.
Huge.
All over Instagram at the moment because recently a documentary came out. But Bufo for me, I haven't tried ibogaine yet. I would like to. But Bufo for me, I think it's incredibly healing, and it really allows people to open their heart and deal with any kind of emotional baggage that they don't even know is there. I didn't think I was carrying anything, until I did the Bufo, and I've done it many times since, many times. And it's like a healing ceremony every single time. It's a really, really beautiful medicine. I absolutely love it and highly recommend it to anyone that's dealing with any type of trauma or PTSD, or even if they're not, even if they're just, soul searching, whatever it is, even if they're looking for God, whatever it is.
Yeah. So the first time I did it was through the pen system, and that's what dramatically changed my life. But I'd also heard there's the original way of doing it, where they take the secretion and it's dried out and then it's burned in a little pipe, and you go really deep, really fast. For me, when I did it that way, I passed out. I fell into a sleep, I guess, and then I woke up. There's still a lot of change and a lot of healing that happened within me, but I remember nothing from it. Exactly, right. So the difference between that and what we use a 6-pen system where you start from a very, very low dose, such a low dose you don't even feel it. It just kind of takes that edge off, and you're kind of go into like a real nice, easy thing. And then you go up to number 2 pin and then a 3 pin, and it starts coming in harder and harder. And then each time you hit the pin, it only lasts about 5 to 7 minutes. And then, do you want to redo that again? You want to revisit that, or do you want to go a little bit deeper? So it's your choice. So at a 4 or 5 pin, my very first time, I only went to a 4 pin for 6 seconds. Um, and that's what changed my life. But the highest pen there is at the deepest thing is a 6. So I went a little over halfway, and that changed my life. I didn't need that big, huge, deep, dramatic impact to change or make an impact, right? Um, but everybody's different. And that's why the pin system works, especially for veterans, I believe, with a lot of trauma from combat. You go as far as you need to go.
Yeah.
So,
It's such an interesting, like I believe as many people as exist are methods for healing, because each psyche is different, each background is different, everything that person has gone through that has brought them to that moment. And that experience of Bufo, I've only done it once, but you can't come back with words. There's no words that exist in this vibration to bring back being everything everywhere all at once and having an orgasm in every cell of your body. And then I saw someone 5 minutes after me, they definitely didn't have that experience. They were having reliving a trauma and shaking and crying and I was in ecstasy. They were in panic and terror, and it's different for everybody, right? And that's what I do. I'm really intrigued by the pen system, because when people know that this is the strongest psychedelic that exists, they're like, yeah, nah, no,
yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I'm okay. And they don't want to go for healing that could really, really help them by this graduated system. So I think that this is revolutionary, what's happening with the system.
So I haven't done the authentic Bufo like Greg has, but I was there sitting in for him, a whole container with the people that were providing the medicine. And honestly, it put me off doing it the authentic way. I've heard, people like Joe Rogan interview people. I think he's done it as well, talking about the authentic way of doing Bufo and DMT and how it shoots you off like a rocket into a different universe. And it being the strongest medicine, that's going to put people off. It's going to put most people off. Like I said, me seeing Greg doing it as well that way, it wasn't a particularly nice thing to watch. However, this pen system that we have, as Greg was saying, that when we're serving ourselves or other people, it's a very controlled, relaxed environment where people, the individuals that are being served the medicine, can really control how deep they choose to go. So, for example, as Greg was just saying as well, if you get to a 1, 2, 3 pen, as you slowly go up bit by bit, if you get to a 3 pen, for a certain individual might decide, this is high enough. I've just processed something really profound and I don't need to go stronger. And that's okay. And that's why, again, what Greg said, this is perfect for vets, because the authentic way of doing Bufo could potentially cause more trauma to people that are dealing with PTSD and trauma.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the pen system is an incredible option for people that just kind of want to stick their toe in the water without having to go all in.
Yeah. And you know what? Because this is not some kind of regulated modality, a lot of people that come out of 1 or 2 sessions of whatever medicine, and this is not to ridicule it at all, it's just what is happening is the ego comes out and is like, I'm called to do this, I'm called to serve this, or I'm called to, but not being assigned to a lineage or a cultural background where that's curanderas, ayahuasqueros, shamanic practitioners, they go through that from birth. But a lot of people are just, if they don't know how to hold space and how to protect energy and how to get someone out of a bad trip, that can be really dangerous for a person's psyche. I had a friend actually after the whiteout, he every night was petrified to go to sleep and created a PTSD that wasn't there before. And it's really, you have to be so cautious with this stuff. So I do really like the idea of building up that where do I want to go, and having that your own kind of, not so much control, but the word, but discernment, I guess, you know, and just going step by step. So that's a really unique approach that
Yeah.
seems really beneficial.
I know a lot of people are saying it, but I mean, it really is true. People's intention of why they're there, integration after doing the medicine, setting is really important. And yeah, you know, not to use it as a party drug, because that's not what it's here for, you know.
No, that's one way to get you slapped around by the universal intelligence.
Yeah, sure.
You can do it as a party drug, but just that one time. Amazing. So I know we just jumped right into that, and you guys offer, there's a lot that your retreats offer. So I kind of want to ask, what are some of the main questions that you get asked about the medicine by your clients that come? Like, what do they want to be reassured by?
I think people are comforted by us talking about our own experiences, what we see, what we feel, what we smell, what we hear, you know. I think, you know, the science behind the medicine and how it works is obviously a conversation that takes place, but people want to be comforted and reassured by your own individual experience. And that's the part that I love sharing as well, and I'm happy to do so here too. What about you, Greg?
Yeah, I would say pretty much the same thing. Most of the questions go to you, honestly, about the medicine. Not sure why that is. Most people talk to me about my story and my trauma, but then when they really want to know the medicine, they usually ask Ben.
Oh yeah,
like the British accent, like
probably what it is. It's comforting.
But I mean, so I understand, and I'm feeling that you guys are very aligned to help with who you've been, right? So you want to help the people that you can most relate to. So Greg, I'm getting that it's really empowering and profound to you, important to you, that you help other veterans. What does that transformation look like? What have you seen people kind of come in with versus when they leave, after not just plant medicine, sacred earth medicines, but also you guys do a lot at your retreats. So we can get into that and how that experience looks also.
The biggest transformation I have seen for people is they tend to slow down and enjoy what's around them at the moment. Almost everybody who has come in has said that they're not as quick to anger anymore. They're more loving. They love people, or they like people more now. That's the biggest thing that I get from people, is just that change of the immediate life around them.
That's big. And can you guys describe your space? Like there's a waterfall, there's you do breath work, you do cacao, you have sharing circles, you're hiking, and the Dominican is lush green jungles. You have a pool. Like, what else have you got? It sounds amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Samana kind of sells itself for anyone that's been here. I compare it to Hawaii. It looks like Hawaii in the 40s, you know, before the development. It's very green, it's very mountainous. There's so many waterfalls here, there's so many secluded beaches. We are spoiled for beaches. There's a different type of beach on every corner. It's really it's how I got stuck here as well. You know, after all the traveling I did, I came here and I was just like, oh my God, this place is beautiful, and I haven't left. So yeah, we have a tree house property. So everyone stays in these tree houses or these little jungle bungalows. Some of the houses have private swimming pools, and they're all filled up with fresh spring-fed water. There's a river coming through the property. Beautiful views, surrounded by greenery, surrounded by tropical farms. And then there's a yoga deck area. There's a little kitchenette area. There's many swimming pools throughout the property. We have a walk-in labyrinth, which is like a walk-in meditation. Currently working on building a jungle gym. And yeah, very, very close to the property is 4 beautiful waterfalls. It's called Salto El Limon. And there's a beautiful hike to get there to the waterfalls. This is where we practice our breath work. There's a a secluded beach just behind the eco lodge called Playa El Limon, and in that area is a huge cave that me and Greg just happened to find.
Cool.
Maybe just a couple of months of me and him working together and putting together this retreat, we came across this cave somehow, and that's a big part of our retreat now as well. So yeah.
That's so cool. Everything you said there, I was just picturing myself like you had me a jungalo, like combined those words, like, ooh, jungalo. Um, it's so important for people when they come to do these transformative journeys. One is to be in nature, and two is that it is a retreat. It's a different space than your everyday experience. You're not sitting in your car and going through traffic and listening to these people that you're trying not to punch in the face in your imagination, and you're away and you're connecting. It sounds like somewhere that you wouldn't want to leave. But aside from just slowing down, what are the experiences? So obviously you get to play in a waterfall, and all of these things reminded me of like coming back to being a kid again that's going to go to camp and like just leave your device away from you and just reconnect to the soil and ground. But what else can people do there?
Yeah, I mean that's the intention, is for people to return to childhood almost and put down whatever it is that they're carrying, and just being able to really, release the stress and the drama that they're carrying on their shoulders. That's the whole intention of the retreat that we put together. What else can people do here? There's Les Terranas is just up the road from our jungle lodge, probably about a 10-minute drive, and this area is a developed kind of tourist town full of bars and restaurants. It's very pretty. And then on the other side is Samana, the city. So it's a bit confusing. The whole peninsula is called Samana, and then the capital is called Samana as well. They have whale watching over on this side, which is this time of year. So from January, sometimes December, but from January to March, you can go whale watching. And there's lots of boat tour excursions as well, and national parks, and it's stunning.
And so people, if they want to come for a transformative retreat, they can have their solace, and they can also have a bit of a traveling holiday and see what's around.
Yeah, for sure. There's not a huge amount, but there's a little bit of nightlife and beach bar kind of activity in Les Terranas. So yeah, definitely they could come here and have a secluded time in the jungle, or they could have the balance of some nightlife as well.
Amazing. Okay, and I guess when did you guys know that you wanted to take this space and turn it into not just a hotel that's gonna, come here, we'll get someone to clean it. Like, you wanted to have a retreat for people to transform. When did you know that this is what we're doing in life? This is how we want to help, and this is who we want to help?
Well, Greg has to tell this story.
Yeah. So after my first Bufo experience, I felt like God was talking to me, like I was getting this download, but I wasn't sure what it was. Ben and I also have a really good friend here. His name is Matt, and he's a breathwork expert. And he's like, "Hey, let me show you some breathwork. Let me teach this to you." So he started teaching me breathwork, and every time that he did breathwork with me, I got a little bit more, like I could hear God's voice. I could feel this download of saying, "You need to use your experience here. Use the medicine. Use nature." You have to help other veterans. You have to help other men who've been living this life with lots of trauma that they don't know how to get through. So I went to Ben. I was like, Ben, I keep feeling this, and I love your place. Your eco lodge is amazing. Can we use it? And he's like, yeah, why not? So he basically just said, here, it's yours. Use it how you want. And not a couple days later, he was trying to plan I think it was a yoga retreat. And then I said to him, I said, Ben, why are you doing yoga? He said, I don't know. That's what everybody does. I said, let's do what we were talking about. And from that day on, I think it was in April, something. It's like from that day on, we went head on and just rammed this thing, and we worked every day as hard as we could to make this happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of passion. Working for passion. It's been good fun.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I really believe when you're in service to not just the medicine, but to help the medicine, help the people heal themselves, you're not going to go wrong if that intention is for everyone's evolution, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really beautiful.
It really is amazing. I can second what Greg is saying as well, I think, and yourself. I think anyone that has their own journey with natural medicine, especially Bufo, you do want to share, this experience with people, and you do feel like it's there to bring attention to the power of natural medicines. I mean, it can help addictions, alcoholics, people with trauma, people with sleeping problems. It's just a wonderful, wonderful medicine. And that's why we do podcasts like this, to put the information out there for people.
Yeah.
Well, and talk to me about, okay, so people can come, so veterans, people with trauma, and you do men's retreats by themselves, and you do co-ed retreats also, right? And so what is the medicine people can work with? Because you don't just do Bufo also, you work with other sacred earth medicines. Can you talk to me about that?
Yeah, so we've got I've got a shout out to these guys that do a cacao ceremony. We have this beautiful couple called Daniel and Ayala, and they do a cacao ceremony over here. And these guys do such a good job. Have you ever done a cacao ceremony?
I have, yes. Yeah. It was so unexpectedly heart-opening and beautiful.
Yeah, so these guys, they have collected indigenous instruments from around the world from their travels, and they create a really beautiful sound bath. So, and then his knowledge of Taino culture as well, which is the native people from this area, and the native people that celebrate and bring honorage to the cacao. These guys do a ceremony, and they kind of educate us on Taino culture, and then it goes into a sound bath after drinking the cacao. All these beautiful instruments and singing. They do a 2-hour sound bath, and it's just. I wanted to shout out to these guys because it's a beautiful experience, beautiful ceremony, beautiful medicine. When we did our networking retreat, we had all these retreat hosts come and experience our place. People that have done many cacao ceremonies and many retreats. And I think easily like 5 of these guys in the ceremony turn around and said, "This is the best cacao ceremony I've ever experienced." So yeah, if anyone's looking to do an authentic, beautiful cacao ceremony, you've got to check out these guys.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you'll do a cacao ceremony during, let's say someone's coming for a Bufo retreat. You'll have a cacao in there as well as what else would they be experiencing is it week long?
Yeah, so we do a cacao ceremony. We have access to a lot. We have access to rapé. We have access to different types of tobacco. We have access to psilocybin and many more things.
Many more.
Many little mushroom brains, like, yay, psilocybin. Cool.
And we have different people that work with different medicines as well, depending on their experience. Just like we have our cacao guys, we have our breathwork guy. We can really kind of formulate a retreat depending on people's requests. That's
awesome. So you can tailor make them to a group.
Yeah, but me and Greg love to work with the Bufo. We're how can I say it? This is the medicine that I love to personally work with and provide to others, and helping the vets in the vet retreat is where I think the passion mostly lies.
Beautiful. Okay, that's amazing. And let's say we are speaking to potential guests or clients at your retreat, and they're veterans. I think we spoke about it before, and also it makes complete sense. But if you go through, and Greg, please correct me if I'm wrong, but if you go through something traumatic with other people, and then you go through something healing with those same people, that bond is deeper. I get goosebumps when something is apparently true. That bond and that healing is amplified by the people together. Would you say that if your crew that you were, or a battalion is the wrong word maybe, but if you went through with those people that you know, underwent trauma with, could you heal together?
Yes,
Or-
absolutely. So there were studies done in the early 90s about this, and up to 80% is what they say your increased healing has happened. Um, so I could do this individually. Let's just say my battle buddies that I was in combat with could do this individually, and we get, our bar set here of healing, right? But if we did this together, from what the studies show, it could be 80% higher. So you could
Wow.
heal further, and just experiencing the trauma together and then the healing together, that in itself is so healing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
To be able to do this, it would have to be on a platoon level or smaller, really even sections, which are there's usually 4 sections or 8 sections within a platoon. Just because we don't want to make the group too large.
Right.
Because even as the provider of the bufo or the provider of the medicine, it takes a lot out of
Right.
the person doing that. It's a lot of space and a lot of time. So having more than we did 8 people in one day, and that was
Yeah, a lot.
never again.
Yeah.
So maybe half that, maybe 4, possibly 5 in one day. So yeah, but it can always be. So we could probably have 10 to 12 people here on a week-long retreat, and separate the medicine ceremony day into a couple days for 2 different groups. But not a lot at one time. So it's a group, but it's not too big.
Yeah, respect. You've got to respect yourself, respect the medicine, and you want to be able to give your all, so you can't be drained. That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, just if you're doing something like that with your best friends or your whoever your group is, doesn't have to be your battalion, like you're changing your life together. Of course, that makes sense. That 80%, I didn't know it was that high. That's huge amplification of healing.
Huge.
That's amazing.
Yeah. To go on what Greg was saying as well, like keeping the retreat group smaller. I don't think we could, how can I say this? The demand from me and Greg to be there for each individual every single day and night, checking in on people, giving support, and that's before providing the medicines, plus arranging everything. And then after doing the medicines, being there for the integration for them as well. It's an honor, but it's a lot of work. So for that reason, the biggest reason is, to keep the group small as well, so people feel like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Held,
huh?
like held or catered to.
Yeah, catered to, taken care of. Smaller groups. No one wants to be going through the biggest healing ceremony or experience of their life with 30 other people, or at least I don't. Having those one-on-one connections with the individuals as well for them and the other people that are taking part in the retreat. So having small groups was important to us. So yeah, I think 10 or 12 is a good number.
Awesome. And I think you guys have a retreat coming up in mid-December. So pretty quick here, in about 2.5 weeks. Do you want to talk about that and what's happening there, how people can maybe get involved?
Yeah, sure. I've got an ayahuasca taking place, an ayahuasca retreat taking place. We've got a shaman coming from Peru. And I don't want to say too much, but maybe if my link and stuff is in the bio, if anyone is in coming down here and doing a retreat with us, they can contact me directly, and I'll give them more personally.
Well, and you guys do a pretty thorough vetting and application. It's not just, okay, great, you signed up and you have money and we're going to take you. No, it's really important to make sure that people are of mental and physical, emotional well-being enough to, sit through the medicine and are not on any medications that are contraindicative of their experience. But you also have a psychotherapist, is that correct? A psychiatrist?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. A lot of places don't have that. So that's quite reassuring. How does that work with your sessions?
Yeah. So for the veterans retreats, for our veterans retreats, so the integration after the application, the integration with our psychotherapist starts before the retreat even starts.
Great.
So they will all have, a short session with her. She's going to make sure the meds, if they're on meds, will fit well with what we're doing. Sometimes they don't. We've already had to turn somebody away, and I felt really horrible. But if they don't mesh, they don't mesh.
Yeah.
So then they'll come in, they'll have the ceremony, and then the next day, the psychotherapist will meet with them, not to lead them through a therapy session, but a way to help them move forward with their integration into life, whether it be journaling every day, or here's what I saw, or here's what I felt. She can, ask the right questions to help lead them to their own answers. So where she's not putting anything out there. So it's not a therapy session. It's more to help lead the people.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't understand that just as much as the actual ceremony itself, as important is the preparation, the ceremony, and then the integration. Each are key components to your health and well-being before, during, and after. And a lot of things, if you haven't had that, you're trying to integrate years down the road of like, what happened to me in that space? So I think that's incredible that you guys have a therapist that is not just there to, provide therapy, but just the space to, how do you feel? What's happening with you?
Yeah. We also have a licensed integration coach as well.
Awesome.
Someone has become a great friend who's very experienced with natural medicines, and he's a great person. That works alongside of us as well. But I think the 2 weeks to a month after doing medicine, Bufo for the first time was my most profound experience like ever. It's such a beautiful process. But if nobody is there to give you a heads up or any insight to what that could potentially look like for the next 2 weeks or month after doing it, you could be hit with a lot of emotions. And that it happened to me the first time I did Bufo. I'd be driving my daughter to school, and I'd pull up over the side of the road and just have a little cry, and just like, where's all this emotion coming from? Like, so much is just coming out first week, and I loved it. It was beautiful. I've never felt so clear and light in my life. But yeah, and that could be different for every person. So integration is important.
And I guess there's so many questions coming up, but before I get into the major benefits, like after reintegrating into your life, and especially for veterans, and people that really want to get off of things like antidepressants, benzodiazepines, people that want to feel their feelings again, that's a whole other kind of kettle of fish, is once they are through to the other side, is like having to reintegrate feeling more because they're off their antidepressants that numb everything. But let's say I am a veteran and I'm thinking about signing up. I'm kind of on the edge of this. Like, can you talk me through what a week is like, or what the retreat? I sign up, and then I book a plane ticket, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have a toad medicine. What am I doing in my life? Talk me through this. What happens?
Yeah, so we personally, Ben and I go and we pick you up from the airport. We have a van and we bring you back. We're about 2.5 hours away from the airport in the jungle. So that ride alone, we're able to make these connections, and everybody's able to get to know each other, which is very, very awesome. And then the next morning, we wake up and we have the cacao ceremony. And after the cacao ceremony and the sound bath, we take a nice hike through the jungle to the waterfalls. We have a beautiful hill that we stop at before, where we talk about the breath work and even do some breath work and work on the breath work that overlooks all these hills, mountains, jungles. It's one of the most unreal sights you'll ever see. And then from there, we go and we visit these waterfalls where we do our breath work. And me personally, I can't go to the waterfalls without jumping in. So I always get in the water. I've not ever been where I don't. So we encourage anybody else who wants to jump in, have fun. That's just day one. So you have this heart opening experience in the morning. You get the breath work in the afternoon, evening with the waterfalls, and you get to know each other. You get to know the other attendees. You get to know us. We get to know you. We get to develop this relationship in just a day and a half. And the next day is the ceremony with the medicine. And if it's the Bufo, Ben and I will be there with you. We really create a really nice space for you. And One of us will provide the medicine while the other holds the space and holds the container. And then the next day, we'll meet with our psychotherapist, and then that night we take a awesome walking meditation silent hike to the cave. We walk through coconut groves. We wade through a river along the beach and then up the mountain to get to the cave. So just the silent walk alone, after you've sat with the medicine and talked to the psychotherapist, a lot can work within you before you even get to your journaling aspect. And that's kind of how the retreat ends. It's spread out over a few days. I know I only said 3 days there, but with splitting up the medicine day, it's a lot of work that you go through.
And that's nice. You don't want to go back to, okay, I'm leaving now. I just, talk to God. Now I'm like, oh, I have to get back on a plane and go back to Ohio or something. Like, no, that's great to integrate with the land itself.
Yeah. It was really nice as well seeing how effective the silent hike was after the day of Bufo. Walking through the countryside like Craig was just describing, and then across a beautiful beach and then into the cave. And everyone stays quiet for, I'd say the hike is a good hour before we get to the cave, I think. And then we go inside and we light up all these candles. This cave is huge, by the way. It's got you'll see in the videos, we'll share some content with you, but you go through this tight little opening and then it just opens up into this giant kind of Batman cave, and there's bats everywhere, and the whole thing is marble. It's really beautiful. And then we go and find a seating spot. There's, even walking into the cave and doing a left and a right, it's like a tunnel. And then we get to a seating spot and we light up all the candles. And sometimes Matt, our friend, will be there, who plays the steel pan drum, or the pan drum, whatever you call them. He's pretty good on that thing, and that just vibrates and echoes off of the cave. And you do a meditation in there, and it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. It's so fun watching people's first kind of reaction when they're in there. And then coming back out is when we can all kind of, break the silence and start discussing. And I think it was really profound for people to do that. I think people really enjoyed the silent hike. So
that is quite profound. And we're not asked to be quiet anymore, and just even just put this thing down, put it down.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've heard of Vipassana before, but just I've done one of those. It's a 10-day silent retreat. You can't make eye contact. You can't write. You can't read. You can't, you just.
You did that for
10 days. Yeah. And it's 10 hours a day of meditation. And you go through all of these, what am I doing? And my hips hurt and my back hurts. And then just arguing with yourself in all these levels. But through the quiet, you're really reflecting yourself. And the quiet does something that is so profound, just in forcing yourself to shut up, and in here even shut up, just quiet.
Yeah.
Just be.
Yeah, that must be so powerful. Doing it for 10 days, that's incredible.
No, I discovered that I have an inner laughter goblin that wants to say inappropriate things at the most inappropriate times. And most of it was, this very profound teacher in front of you meditating and all these quiet people. And my brain's like, fart, 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 poo, poo, and you just find ways to accept being human.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, and even when you were talking there, just describing the first few days experience, that bonding, that's oxytocin in the first day. And then the signs of in a cacao ceremony, that's theobromine. That's a heart opening. It's a heart, blood circulating, as well as serotonin, dopamine, anandamide. It's another bonding agent. It's not just drinking this delicious from the earth cacao. And when you're walking in silence, you're really, again, connecting to nature. There's so many scientific things that you're describing, just of we're just being here. We're just being.
And sorry to sound really woo-woo here, but
that's my jam.
Greg was really, what's the word? Really adamant that it had to be in this routine, because he describes a story he received this information as a download, when he was on the. And this structure had to be this way. He'd always said that to me from the beginning, the way that you just described it. So
that's awesome. I think that there's a knowing too. One of my friends, she's a clairvoyant and clairsentient, and she says, I've stopped calling them downloads because that's implying that it's coming from a different source to you. She calls them activations now because it's your source remembering something it was supposed to in
Oh,
its
wow.
service to self. So I'm really aligned with your activation there of like, no, it's supposed to be this way, and that's your contribution to, oh, there's the goosebumps. That's how
Yeah.
you're helping people like that. That's amazing.
Yeah, interesting.
And I really just want to get people here. Like I'm envisioning being there. I want to wake up there. I want to go in all these pools, get lost in a cave. Do people have time to themselves to kind of wander around and have some fun in the space?
Yes, especially during the medicine ceremony day.
Cool.
You'll be in your own ceremony for no more than an hour and a half. You'll have your space, but the rest of the day is yours.
Beautiful.
Yeah, to kind of do your own thing. So.
Well, and I wonder too, like with all of the healings that you've seen, either as facilitating or spectating or just like being in the presence of, was there something for you each like that has been really memorable or transformative? It could have been even, I mean, your own, but was there something that's really like stuck with you that keeps you inspired?
Do you want to go first, Greg?
I don't, honestly. The experiences that I have had with other people, I think aren't my story to tell. And I'm not sure. I would love to share it. I just don't know how to share some of them yet. I need to work
Sure.
on that, figure out how to share it without
Maintaining
without my ego getting in the way. So
fair.
The day that we provided medicine to everyone was, I mean, the whole retreat was incredible and really memorable. But once me and Greg had provided medicine to everyone, there was a lot of energy to be released, and me and Greg went back to a house on the property, which has got a really nice view of the stars, and we decided to do the bufo, which was kind of encouraged by the integration coach there, for us to release a lot of this energy. But anyway, we both were able to go a lot stronger on the pen, and we had this really beautiful experience where we were laying down pretty much on a balcony with a view of the stars. And I remember me and Greg saying to each other, like, you know, this sounds very romantic. Both saying after hitting the pen that more stars kept appearing, but it's not that they weren't there or they were imaginary. It was, you know, our vision or our senses were almost heightened that we were able to see them. And it was that was a highlight for me, because it was a good experience for me and Greg to have together, where we'd just been working really hard, giving it our all, and there was just this release of energy that we had potentially taken on from the day's work. But that was a really special moment for me during the whole retreat, to answer your question.
Second
that's lovely. And I think the more people that you help, the higher your perspective. I think like this show is called Power Perspectives. And I think the more that you try to get into someone else's viewpoint to understand them in order to serve them, or to just be compassionately empathetic with them, the more you're expanding yourself, right? And I think that's when you said you could see more stars. I'm like, yeah, they were already there, but you became more able. It's beautiful.
Definitely. Yeah. Do you have any kind of profound memories from the first time that you did bufo?
Me? Jesus, yes.
Anything ever out to you that has really stayed with you?
Yes. The strangest was in probably the last 5 times that I've had strong psychedelics experiences and ceremonies. I've had a full Kundalini electrocution in my whole body, and it feels like you're having an orgasm. And it's not just this sexual experience. It's like for a moment, it was like source energy turned and looked at me, and that whole entirety of every cell in my being electrocuted with the most inexplicable love and light and fire. And it was as white as it was also the blackest black. And I can't explain that in other ways. It was absolutely white that it was black, and absolutely black that it was white, and every color in the same time. And as curving as it was straight lines and rigid squares and circles, and it was everything.
Mm-hmm.
And when I remember what I was saying. I remember coming back and like, everything is everything. Like, I know everything is everything. And how, you can't be the same when you come back. And the medicine man was like, all right, hang on to that, because you'll go back into life and drive past a McDonald's and la da da, and life will come back. Hold on to this moment. And I really did. I was just like, okay. It was like I saw every single symbol that existed and every meaning that humans attribute to meaning while orgasming. And it just felt like, oh, this is what maybe source maybe feels like for maybe a split second. And that was just such an honor. But again, like I said, someone who had it right after me was shaking and screaming and crying and eating sand. And I was like, hey, cool. It's very different.
Yeah. And that was on the Bufo?
Yes, but first we did a Cambo, and I know that's very beautiful. That was not my favorite experience, but it was a necessary part of the cleansing, is what the shaman told us.
Oh wow, you did Cambo first.
Yes, he said it was like the spiritual cleanse to make the Bufo easier to
purge,
go through. Yeah, but different for everyone.
Yeah.
I am very excited to help people find you, like to have these profound experiences. You're never the same again after. Like, I've never been the same after that. I did that for my 40th birthday, and I was like, cool, like nothing's gonna really change, like top that. Yeah.
And it's great as well. It's like, opening the door to this world, or to having access to these medicines once you realize what they are and what they're put here for. It doesn't just have to be a one ceremony thing. I feel so blessed that I've come across them and I have them in my life, and I can use them in any time of struggle, because they really help. And each experience is different, and it helps you mature and grow. It helps you build emotional intelligence, what a gift.
Well, that's amazing. And I want to ask you guys, like individually as well as together, like what's your vision for the project? Like if you were to, the Steve Jobs, like you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect the dots looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots are aligning in your favor. Like if you were looking back in 5 years, what does Samana Soul look like to you? Who has it helped, and where are you in the grander scheme of things?
A cool question. Do you wanna start, Greg?
Yeah. So to me, like you said, who has it helped? And I think that's everything that it's about. I want to help as many people help themselves as I can. Anybody who wants to go there and is looking for healing, I can't heal you. Ben can't heal you, but we can be the conduit. Yeah. We can show you how to get there. You just need to be willing to do the work yourself. And in 5 years, if we can be doing this monthly, because people just want to keep coming and keep coming and keep coming, I'll be here as much as I can for as many people as I can. That's my dream.
It's beautiful.
I'm going to give a really boring answer. I'm sorry. I've been such a control freak, trying to control every aspect of my life, until starting to do the medicines. That the medicine, if anything, has taught me to just relax and go with the flow, and just have trust in the process of life and where it's taken you. I mean, that would be my answer. I'm really excited for what the future brings with Samana Soul and helping people. And what do I think is going to happen? I'm not thinking too hard about it, honestly.
That's good. That's a good space to be in. And I wondered, I mean, have a think about this for a minute, but like, what would you say to yourself 10 years ago, or even as your younger selves, like not knowing what life was going to be, and now you're like at facilitating sacred toad medicine to people in the Dominican Republic with Dominican wives and Dominican lives, and not knowing how this would unravel. What advice would you give yourself when you were really struggling? Maybe even after you came out of battle, Greg, or when you didn't know where you were going, Ben.
Good questions.
Wow. I would tell myself to stay the course, that better times are coming. Dealing with suicidal ideology and then losing my son to suicide, and then it even getting worse for me. I didn't think there was an end in sight. So my advice would be there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Stay the course.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how to answer. My only answer would be I kind of wish that I did a lot of research into natural medicines before I tried it. I mean, before COVID, I was researching DMT and ayahuasca. I just wish that I tried it before, because I think there are a lot of people that are nervous about it, especially the longer kind of ceremonies like ayahuasca, for example, 6 or 7 hours, depending on how much you take. That's really daunting to people. But there are other things, as you know, Shannon, psilocybin experiences that people can have that are less time, or the bufo ceremony takes about an hour, again, depending on the individual. I just wish that I had tried it sooner. And yeah, I love Greg's answer. For anyone that's struggling with any type of trauma or DMT or suicidal thoughts, do your research, and I highly recommend this type of medicine to help anyone that's listening that needs it.
Awesome. Thank you guys for sharing. What's your why? Why are you running these retreats for people that can really use this service?
For me, I want to be a better husband, a better father, and a better man. And if I can help anybody else in that same path, why not? You know what I mean? So
thank you. That's great.
Yeah, I think life is about service to others. Even though we can't see it all the time, I think everybody is in service to others in one shape or form. The first time doing the medicine, I released a lot of anger that I was holding onto, a lot of anger that I didn't even realize that I had. For me, to have such a beautiful experience and be able to put down such a weight, I mean, why wouldn't you want to share that with people?
mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah.
Everyone deserves it. That's the thing. Even people that don't realize that they're carrying trauma, just like myself. I mean, all of our friends and families around us have been doing the medicine as well, because me and Greg started doing it. And everybody deserves to be able to put down this weight for 5 minutes and just breathe, cry, let go, have this experience, and yeah, everyone deserves it.
Yeah.
Everyone deserves it.
Thanks.
No
Yeah.
worries.
Thank
Cool.
you so much for taking the time to do this with us today, Shannon.
And you guys.